hello, morning, good afternoon, or good evening. So today we are going to start another class. So last week we looked at some of the charts. So we have had some very good charts that have happened, and we've taken some very good trades during the last week. So basically what we look for, so for us it's easy because we always look for impulses and corrections. Remember, an impulse is a strong move towards one direction, and a correction is the struggling of a price against the direction that it was moving. So for example, in this particular place, we can see this is the impulse. And after this, it started correcting. So this move is so strong. This move is struggling. So you can see it took a little time to come from this point to this point. And it's taking a lot of time correcting. This is about maybe 50% or over 50% of this. Then what happened next after that impulse, after that correction? So we can see another impulse. Then what is happening now, we can see another correction there. So it's okay, that's easy for us. So last week we looked at some few setups and they were good. So some of the trades that we took on that particular week were, so we had the Euro USD. So we can see we had an impulse here and it was correcting. Then what happened after this is that it moved that way. So this is a trade that we shared on 11th of April. Then another trade that we had also was the New Zealand dollar. So the New Zealand dollar was at its low. So, and we were saying at this particular point, because this was a bigger correction that was happening. So we were looking for it to come at least to this particular highs. So that trade took place, we took that trade, we're already out, and now there is another trade that is we're expecting this coming week. So this coming week, we will be selling the New Zealand dollar, and that's easy for us. Then another trade that we also took was the Euro AUD. The Euro AUD. So I shared that trade on the 10th of April. So what happened after that Euro AUD is that you can just look at that chart. So the Euro AUD. So you can see what happened. So it just went up after we had shared that trade. So that was also easy. So another trade that we had on that particular week was, so we also have we had the New Zealand Japanese yen. So that is the trade we shared. So after we shared that particular trade, so basically we didn't share it this week. It happened the week before. So it came down and it is rising. So there are other trades that we have, and there are other trades that we are looking for on this particular coming week. So the people who are in our team are taking these trades, and I hope they are holding them to the point where they can take their profits and they are not leaving the trades early. So what I want us to do today, we can look at some of the trades that we will be looking for on this particular coming week. So I'm not planning to have a class for more than 30 minutes. So we can just go through these trades quickly. So we can start with the dollar index. Basically, the dollar index shows us how the dollar is moving. So if the dollar index is rising, you'll find that the USD chief will also be rising. So we can see how this trade is moving. So we have an impulse, a correction there. Another impulse, another correction there. Another impulse, another correction there. Then another impulse, then now it broke this upper trend line. Then we have an impulse, then we have a correction there. Then another impulse, now we're having a bigger correction. So what I expect this coming week, this trade can only, so it can move this way, then move this way. This is the trade I am looking for. So my targets are this low. My targets are this low. Or it can keep moving down. But I expect it to come up to this, at least to this particular highs, and then I will look for this trade coming down. So that is easy. Then so the USD chief moves the same as that pair. So we can see that we are in a correction. So what we are looking for these sells on the USD chief. So what I expect this pair to do on this particular coming week, I expect as these others, so it can rise a little, but I don't expect it to go so far. It can rise a little, but I don't expect it to go so far. As the dollar index will be rising, so I expect this pair to rise also a little. So it can keep correcting upwards a little. Then this is the trade I will be looking for. This is my first target. If it breaks these particular highs, these particular lows impulsively, I will look for another correction and add more sells. So this is my second target, and we have our other targets down there. Remember, this is a long-term trade, and we've been talking about this trade in the first class that we had. Then so we have the USD card. So we took this trade the last time we shared it in the class. So that time when we were sharing this trade, we were basically at this level. We took this trade, came down, took our profit. I didn't take the trade up, but I waited for it up. I took it again. So we're at the middle, and I'm hoping to at least back in those profits when this week, at least in the first 3 days of the week. So when it's coming down, still remember we expect it to come down further, but this trade is already gone. So I don't expect you to start chasing these running candles because it's already gone. So that is already gone. So another trade that we have is the USD Japanese yen. So if you look at our previous class, you will see that we shared this trade when it was at these particular points. So we were looking for it to sell for the long term. So basically what it did, it came to our first target, and when it hit there, it came back up. So what I'm expecting this particular week, I expect it to break this trend line and come down again. So this will be our first target, and we can look at our second target here. But in the long run, we are looking for this trade to come down for the long run. So this is a trade we cannot afford to miss. So when we took that particular trade, so we made some profits, but I wasn't near my screen, so I wasn't able to manage that trade. So what happened is that I had moved my stop loss to break even. And when this trade came down, when it reached these points, it rose up and it took me on break even. So for me, break even trades are good trades. So break even are good trades as long as we're protecting our capital. So we're keeping moving on. So another trade that we were talking about was this particular trade. So you can see what happened in this US dollar, Hong Kong dollar. So it fell. But the reason I don't take this particular pair is that it takes a lot of time, and because of its cost. So you can find that the swaps are too much. So basically we don't take this pair, but this is a good trade. So you can analyze the pairs even if you're not taking them. So there's no problem. So that was a good pair. That was a good trade. So you can see that it has already moved. Then another good trade that we took was the US dollar. So I'd already talked about that. So on this coming week, so remember, if we are expecting the dollar to fall, then basically it means that we are expecting the Euro USD to continue rising. So the trade that we are looking for in this particular coming week, so we can expect this to keep on correcting, then that is the trade we are looking for. That is the trade we are looking for. So this is the trade that I will be looking for in this particular coming week. So let it correct. Let it keep correcting. And when it breaks that correction, so you can buy. A move like this, you can buy. So you can buy. That will be our first target, but we expect it to continue rising. So just look for corrections and continue buying. Just look for corrections and continue buying. So we have the Euro JPY. So the Euro JPY basically moves the same way the Euro USD. The USD Euro moves. So what I expect on this coming week, basically this is the trade that I expect. This is the trade that I expect. This is the trade that I expect. So you can see what is happening. So basically what is happening is a bigger correction. So what is happening is a bigger correction. So I expect a trade like this. So this is our first target, at least this particular lows. But remember, we are looking for to sell this pair in the medium term and in the long term. So this is our other target. So if you sell this pair, when it starts coming down, you can just move your stop loss to break even. When it comes to this particular lows, when it you can just enter. When it comes to this particular lows, just look at how it is behaving. So because it can do like this, so it can come down and then makes another impulse, then another correction, then it goes up for one more time. So don't give back this money to the market. Don't give back that money to the market. So that is a simple trade for this particular coming week. So then we also have the Euro British pound. So this is the trade that I expect on this particular coming week. This is the trade that I expect on this particular coming week. So it can take around 2 weeks. So we are ready to hold for at least those 2 weeks. But this trade, we expect it to be at least this way. So you can see what is happening. So we can only sell for the medium term. So we expect this trade to happen at least this coming week. So what you should look for, just go to lower time frames and look for an impulse and then a correction and then sell. So you have to move to the lower time frames, but you can enter that trade, put your stop loss there, put your target profit there, and just manage your trade after you've entered. Then this trade has already, this one has already moved. This one has already moved. So we caught this trade when it was coming up. Basically, I didn't catch it when it was coming down, but this trade has already moved. So I will be looking at these particular bottoms. I'll be looking at least at these particular bottoms and see how it will be behaving. But it has already moved, so currently I don't see a setup there. So currently I don't see a setup there. So this one has already moved also. This trade has also moved also. We talked about it in the last class that we had last week. So, and it's moving the way we expected. Basically, in the last week, the way it was moving here, it wasn't moving aggressively the way it was moving in these particular days. So I was expecting this trade to take at least 2 weeks or so. Last week, I remember I shared that I was expecting it to come at least down and then rise again. So it didn't come. So, but remember we had talked about this trade when it was at this particular point, but it didn't move the way we were expecting it. But it is going how we had predicted that it's going, but it is moving slower than we expected. So it is already at the middle, so I don't expect you to enter. So don't chase those running candles. But the way it's moving, so it's good. So this is our target. We expect it will at least hit that target in these coming weeks. So what you should do, just draw a trend line there, let it correct. Every time it's correcting, when it comes down, just buy. You can just buy. You can let it correct and you can just enter those buys. So, but remember it's at the middle, so it can move down. So just trade with care. So don't chase running candles. So there are a lot of good trade setups. So we also talked about this pair. So some of my members are holding it. So we've been looking for this trade from this particular point. In our first class, we were at this particular point, and we were saying that this is our target. Remember, on this particular night, I sold the New Zealand dollar. So when the New Zealand dollar was falling, this pair also was rising. So it made a correction and it is moving up. Although it is moving up slowly, so expect at least it will hit this particular highs. So also there is no trade setup at that particular point. So don't chase the running candles. The moment you were supposed to buy this trade was when it was this particular day. When I was doing our analysis for that particular weekend, so that trade basically opened with a gap, and then it started rising up. So you can just go and look at the previous classes that we've had and look at how the trades are moving. So there's no trade setup in that pair. So this one has already also moved. So you can look for sells for that particular pair. Just look for corrections and sell. So you can see there's a correction that is happening there. So you can let it come up, then you can sell. You can let it come up, then you can sell. You can let it come up, then you can sell. So I will try and share these setups in the Facebook page, so you can just follow there and you'll catch some. So we don't share all, we share just a few, and the rest we share in our Slack live trading room. So this is also a good pair. So you can just look for corrections and continue selling. Just look for corrections and continue selling. Just look for corrections and continue selling. So this is also a good trade for this coming week. So what we can do, just so you can see that we have an impulse there and we are having a correction. So what you can do, just look for this correction to break up. This is a short-term trade. So I expect it to take at least 1 or 2 days. So this is a short-term trade. This is a good trade. You can take it on this coming week. It's a good trade. It's a short-term trade. You can take it on this coming week. So this particular pair, I also expect it to at least rise a little. So so there's a short-term trade also here. It will rise a little, but this is the trade that I'm looking for. It can give me a lot of money. So this pair is a good pair. So basically, personally, I expect it to come at least to this particular lows, but it will take some time. It will take some time for it to come to this particular lows. So on this particular coming week, I will expect it to rise a little and I will sell it from these tops. So you can see that I already have my alarm at that particular point. So I expect to sell it from those highs. So this trade we've made a lot of money from this trade. When it was down here, we were buying it, so it came to the top. Now we are selling it. So you can see the way this pair moves. So you can just go to the trading view. Just go to our trading view. Just look at our trade setups. Just come and click at this play button here, and it will show you what happened after the trade had been shared. So it is easy. You can go, just follow us. It's okay for you to comment on anything that you see there. So that is a good trade. So the New Zealand dollar. So this pair I've already talked about it. So we took that trade on last week. So I shared it in our last class. So at that particular time we were around these particular places. So it went up, we took our profit. Now we're expecting it to come down this particular week. So that is a short-term or a medium trade. So I expect it to take around 3 days or at least this coming whole week. So that is a trade that I don't expect you to miss. So that is a good trade. So basically, I think that is enough for today's class. So you can just look at it. It's okay for you to comment, and we want to hear your views on how we can improve this particular class. Goodbye.